Hi, it's Wednesday, August 5th, and we're going to go live this evening, and we're looking at the Hand-Drawn Blooms stamp set. I'll get started in just a minute. Hi, Crystal. So this evening we're going to be looking at Hand-Drawn Blooms. This was one of the first stamp sets that caught my eye when the annual catalog came out. Hi, Nancy. It's under Artistry and Blooms. So it's got a 2-page layout on 130, 131, and then you can see the stamp set is on 132, and it comes as a bundle. So that's what we're looking at this evening. I got the opportunity to play with this set, and so I'll share with you some cards that I made. The first one I did was I cased this one that was on page 131. I just changed up the colors. And I used a Just Jade and a Petal Pink. And this paper, the Designer Series paper, is actually from the Forever Greenery DSP. And then I used layering circle dies and some elegant faceted gems for this card. Hi, Deborah. I see you finished mowing the lawn and were able to make it tonight. Welcome. So this is the one I made out of that card. These dies to cut out the small flowers are within the die set. So pop it up to give it a little bit of texture. The second card I made, for some reason when I looked at this stamp set, I saw a hot air balloon. So I went ahead and I made this one with crumb cake, apple green, colored the umbrella in, and then you'll see the banner bloom, it has a label that cuts out the middle. So I wrapped that around. I took some crumb cake and I ran it through an embossing folder to give it some texture. And it was the Tasteful Textile. And then out of this set, you can see here in the corner, there's a little like daisy or coneflower. And so then I just cut that out and put it on the bottom. But when I was looking at this, I liked it, but it's not a bad card. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the card, but I thought, well, I wanted to remake it. So I redid it this way without the harsh line around it, using a different color on the banner. Still the exact same idea, only this time I did the Magenta Madness base, still the Granny Apple Green. And so I sort of liked that one a little better. I thought it was a little softer. So, options. There's no right or wrong, just different options. Then I decided I really liked this set that comes in the Christmas catalog that went live yesterday. Isn't that so exciting? So, this is the Celebration Tidings and the Celebration labels. So, I pulled these labels in to work with this stamp set because I just love these labels, and I did this card. This may actually be my favorite of the day. This one I took a Whisper White cardstock, and then I'm hoping that you can see I then took and did with Versamark and white embossing powder, I embossed that stamp, and then I went over it. I did some Balmy Blue and some Petal Pink and some Pear Pizzazz, or this may be Seaside Spray. Nope, Balmy Blue. So, and then what I did was I cut it out with with one of these, and then I used the next one up and I just ran it through, but just to emboss it, not to cut it. And I layered those, and then I did Sweet Baby on it. I thought that would be pretty for a baby shower card. So that's what I did with that one. And then the last one that I did was this card. This used strictly this die. And the last few weeks I've been talking about how we can use blender brushes and ink pads for blending. And do watercoloring with them. Tonight we're actually going to do a watercolor card. Very simple. That's what I did with this one. So let me pull in some things here. I need soft seafoam instead of this color. I need a marker. Okay. So what we're going to do with these is I'm going to work with Seaside Spray, Rococo Rose, Bumblebee, and Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to start with a piece of watercolor cardstock. You can use the smooth side or the rough. I'm going to actually go for the textured side. I'm going to bring in a multimedia mat to work on and a piece of paper here so I don't make a big mess. And I have some water painters. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take and I'm just going to put some ink down on my mat here. I just thought these colors looked pretty together. You can also use a stamp block to do this. If you don't have a media mat, you can simply put the ink on a block, clear block, and use it from there. Works the same way. So with my water painter, let me slide this up. I'm going to wet this entire card. Let me get some water out here. You can see I'm putting water all over the card. This will help the paint to flow. So first I'm going to bring in the blue. I'm just going to paint this on here. Clean it off. And then I'm going to come in here for some of the Rococo Rose. You know, when you're putting watercolors down, there's no right or wrong way. You just bring it into the card and they will blend together. And then I think I'll finish out the bottom with some green. So there we go. I think we have that all over the card. Now, if I don't want to waste what's left on my pad, I can take this and spray it a little more. Just get a little, if my sprayer's going to work. Ah, there we go. Just missed it a little. I'll bring in another piece of cardstock and I'll just start picking up what's left here. And then I will have this piece of cardstock to use for a different project. And then I can always go back and layer in on top of this one after it dries. But there's no sense in wasting all of that ink. Oh, I like that. So we'll just set that off to the side and let that dry. Bring in a baby wipe. And it's all good. All right. I am going to make some noise here for a moment. I do want to dry this. I left my heat gun across the other side of the room. Sorry about that. So this heat gun has 2 settings on it. I am just going to put it on the low setting. to heat set some of this so that we can move on and die cut this. I like watercoloring. We've talked about it a lot the last couple of weeks and different ways to get that look. Let's see. So has everybody had a chance to go out and look at the new Christmas catalog? Hopefully this isn't making too much noise. I think we're dry enough. Now, the last thing I want to do with this, let me clean off this block. I'm actually going to come in. Hi, Shayla. I'm going to bring in some Misty Moonlight. It's out of the ink refill bottle. I'm just going to drop it on my block. And I'm going to pick it up with this card with some water. And then I just want to get some dots. So I'm just going to tap it and flick it onto my card. Hopefully you can see those little dots. Just to give it some added texture. And that brings in that Misty Moonlight. All right. Again, we'll just clean up with some water. I'm going to hit this with the heat gun again to set it. Yes, Nancy, I agree. Some interesting things in there. Hopefully everybody placed an order in July and can use those coupons that were left over to spend in August. All right, so now what I need to do is take my die and run this through the Big Shot. And you can place it any way you wish to on your card once that's done. All right, we'll bring my Big Shot in here. I run this through twice because it's really tough to get this watercolor card, especially if it's still just slightly damp. So I want to make sure I get that cut out. And those that need a Big Shot, in the annual catalog, there was some that came out, and I believe those will be on sale. Yeah, he doesn't whisper too softly, but that's Bill, the producer over there in the corner, telling me to watch my framing. So, all right. Now I need to get all of those little pieces out of there. So I'm just going to bring in my brush and my foam mat. And of course, they don't all want to come out, so you can use your pick a tool and pop them out. I just love how this watercolor paper looks with this die. It's so pretty. You can do soft colors. I tend to go towards pastels, but it would be just as beautiful in brights or fall colors. Do you have a favorite genre of colors? I think I got them all. Oh, nope, these little daisy looking things in the bottom corner. Sometimes I think I should save all these for confetti in a shaker card. All right, I think we have it all. All right, let me just jump this out of the way. So now I want to place my sentiment on the card. So I'll bring in the Stamparatus, and I will really, of course, I have extra magnets and they're sticking together. They're too strong. I'm going to use extra magnets because I know that because this is watercolor and textured, it's going to take me several tries to get that sentiment on here. And today I'm going to be, for this one, I'm going to be wishing you a happy birthday. I love this stamp set again because it just lines up perfectly with these banners. So we're going to get it right in there. And I'm going to bring in, oop, it's not what I wanted. I wanted Memento. Picked up the wrong stamp pad. So using the Stamparatus allows me to re-ink and stamp. I think that looks good. All right, move that out of the way. Bring in my card base. Isn't it funny? Same colors, different look this evening than the one that I did earlier. So then we'll just dab some glue in some different places on here. Oop. To get it to stick down. This is when I find the pieces that I missed. I think this was a rather quick card, even though we were watercoloring since we could dry it. And of course, because you did use water paper, you'll see it sort of wants to curve, but once you get the glue on and you put it down on the paper, we should be good. All right. Hi, Barb. All right. So there we go. Now for the inside of my card, I am actually going to take the stamp set and just the top of the flowers. I like to add a little bit of texture inside the cards. There we go. Add some glue on the back. All right, and then really the only thing I feel that the front needs is some dots, and I decided to bring, that was not my pick a tool, was it? Was to bring in some of the bumblebee. I like the way, that one fell apart. The yellow looks on that misty moonlight. All right. And there we go. We have a watercolor card. Too much glue. There we go. I'm famous for leaving my ink pads open and then my card falls in them. So this was the one I made earlier. This was the one we watercolored this evening. And then I will bring back in some of the other cards that we used. We used hand-drawn blooms and the banner bloom dies. I used the celebration labels. And here are some of the cards we made tonight. This was cased off of page 132 to show you how easy they are to do. These were two different versions of I Saw the Hot Air Balloon. And then the one using the celebration labels. So that's it for this evening. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, the Christmas catalog is now live. So go out and take a look at it. That's where those celebration labels are from. There's some absolutely gorgeous stuff. We looked at the gnomes and some of those cards several weeks ago on one of the Facebook Lives. And I posted a hostess code up at the top of this video with the colors that I used. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for joining me. Good night.